we are, right near the end of our cheap models build of the Hobby Craft 172 scale CH-113 helicopter in the, I guess as the Labrador. It's in the Canadian livery. And our pin wash is dry. And yeah, we're just going around and cleaning it off. I'm using Umbros enamel thinners. And yep, just kind of really happy about getting a little bit of a handle on the pin wash. I had trouble. Some of them have gone away, so I'm going to clean this up and then hit the spots that didn't come back. Unfortunately, some of the decals didn't sink all the way down in. I cut some of them, and some of them worked and some of them didn't. So some of the ones in the Canadian flag here didn't go all the way through. So next time we'll make sure that we're more thorough about getting those sunk right down into those little grooves. But I struggled with what thinners to use, and you know, finally getting the right one with the enamel thinners. And yeah, it's working really good. So I'm just, excuse me, just cleaning off these panel lines and get the excess off of here, and it's leaving a pretty nice finish. Yeah, and I touched in the red with the Tamiya red. It was a pretty good match to the decal, and spotted in the red spots here in that corner where it broke open, right in these spots here. And yeah, so overall this kit was I enjoyed this kit, and I would recommend it. It was fun to build. It had I got a list of some of the issues. I mean, the decals, there were some fit issues with some of the parts. The front canopy had some issues where it didn't really want to go together. But as much of that was probably me being impatient sometimes. But yeah, no, overall, I thought we ended up with a pretty good looking model. I've got the other side done. It's, you know, it's cleaning up pretty good. And you can see most of the panel line. So I think once we get it on our base with our other vehicle, I think it'll end up looking pretty cool. It's definitely brought out some of the lines more distinguished. Oops, sorry, more distinguished around the cockpit, along down in here, along down in there. So we'll get this cleaned up, and I'm going to get this excess off first, and then I'm going to give it another go around and get all the little spots that I missed on the first pass. And yeah, I'm so jazzed that I finally figured this out. I was always scared to, you know, I tried a couple different thinners that I thought were the right ones, and they were too harsh, and I kind of ruined paint here and there, and I was really nervous about getting this panel line to the point where I could just put it on and then feel confident I could clean it off without totally destroying what was underneath. And yeah, so small victory for me as far as modeling goes. I know it's something that a lot of, well, but you know, it takes you a while to learn to get the confidence to really, you know, do some stuff. This one is a big one because being able to do this panel line has really improved your models, especially with the small scale, being able to bring out those details of the panel lines. But yeah, it's cleaning up nicely, and it's definitely leaving me the detail of those lines in there as I go around, just with just the littlest bit. I'll probably take my door off to clean that up. So I'm going to leave some grunge around there. We may want to, but yeah, it's just a little bit, a little dab will do ya. And I've watched guys do it, and it's like an enamel thinner, and I don't know what I was thinking. I tried different thinners. I guess, I don't know if it was being stubborn or if it was just not really comprehending. I don't know. I didn't have enamel thinners, and then I had some enamel paint and wonder why I didn't have enamel thinners. So finally got some. Got up the gumption enough to give this a try. And boy, am I ever glad I did, because it's starting to look pretty good. That's coming up pretty good there. The thinner end, just the lightest little bit of thinners on one end of the cotton bud, and then just sort of cleaning off the excess with the dry end of the cotton bud, just sort of blending it around. And then I have a really soft cloth for buffing right after, once I'm all done. Buffing it up. Had that little flaw there, so we'll use that as a scratch from the cable coming in and out. Oh, sorry, keep drifting off higher than the camera there. Yeah, this is great. I'm sure all you other modelers who have been doing this for a while, when you first discovered this trick, were like, oh yeah, this is the bomb. Yeah, this is really good. I'm really getting jazzed about being able to get this off without really destroying anything. It's great. Love it. I love it. Yeah, we added in our little details here. We had this screening stuff left over from a Ferrari kit that we had. So we cut some pieces to fit on either side. I thought that added a nice little bit of detail to it, to you know, sort of fill in those things. I'm not sure. I would imagine there's some sort of intake, some sort of supply of air for the engine, I'm assuming. But again, not positive. I want to leave some grime underneath a bit. She's seen a bit of use, this girl. Although I do have a fondness for my models to look like they're things that I haven't used. I'll have to really buckle down one time and do a real clean build of you know, one of my car model kits. I have the highest respect for you car guys being able to get that finish so clean, and because with the cars, unless you're doing an old rust bucket or something, which is cool too, but that's getting more into like the armor, where you have that forgiving, that if you know, you kind of have the weathering and the textures that go on with the surfaces of the armor that sort of lend itself to you know, being able to be creative with that finish. But when you get into those car kits with the super clean finish and a shine, but as I progress with my paint and my finishing, like, yeah, this is cleaning up not too bad. So obviously, you know, if I took more time with this kit, if you took a lot more time with this kit, and you know, you obviously rescribed and you know, worked, you know, on the seams more, you know, I mean, you could really obviously build this model up, you know, to a much higher degree. But just with the, you know, a quick build and you know, some limited time, definitely you're left with a nice looking display model, especially with the nice colors. The yellow and the red really stand out. Once you get it on your shelf. Ooh, what's that? Big old thumbprint. New clean bud. New clean bud. Yes, and our replacement window never did go clear. That PVA glue that I used anyways dries milky, so I know that now. I thought about replacing it, but as the rescue one, I thought, well, maybe it's obstructed view. I thought it actually added a little bit of variety with it. I suppose if I change my mind again, I could always probably cut it out and redo it. Easy enough. I'll leave a little bit of streakage at the back, I think. Just to evoke a bit of wear, because there is the hatch door back here. But you can see I got to bring back some of these lines at the back. Get these cleaned up. Yeah, I enjoyed building this model. It was a lot of fun. Cool subject. I don't know that there are readily any other kits. I'm sure there might be a couple of this particular craft, but it sure caught my eye when I saw it. I'm glad to have built it. A little bit of left behind going on. There's a lot of little details. These decals too, I was kind of shy about cutting into them because, you know, you saw how this one was coming apart, this one here, and some of them were sort of unruly, so I was a little bit leery of cutting into them, because if they ripped and tore, I thought, oh jeepers, you know, I didn't want to wreck it. So I was a little bit timid. Also not really having done a lot of that carving into the stickers, or the decals I should say, to make that relief cut, so I wasn't really sure how far I could go and how far I can't. I left that under there kind of raunchy just to give it that sort of look. Stuff gets on the underside. Stuff usually collects underneath. And see, I got a little bit of that one here. Just a little bit, but not enough to see if I can get some pin wash to stay in there on my next go round. Excess here. Where's my soft cloth? Here you are. A piece of a t-shirt here. Clean cotton bud. Get rid of the excess off of there. Just clean that right out. Some of these will take another hit for sure. Did you go through a few buds though? A bud. That's for sure. And I don't know what the weather is of where you are, but we are getting some unusually mild temperatures, accompanied with rain. That's basically getting rid of all the snow that we had accumulated. And now we're getting inundated with rain. And it is very damp, cold, but raining. And unusually crappy out in the Great White North, here in Canada, at least in my area of Canada, here in Ontario. But usually we're a little bit cooler than it is right now. It's been, we had a cold snap there for a bit, and then it's been relatively mild this last little while. And I had noticed that other people around, there was a fella I was watching in New Mexico, Comics with Bueller, and he said that yes, it was snowing and it was very cold in New Mexico where he was. I figured they were getting our weather maybe. Cleaned off a bit. And when I think of, as a Canadian, when you think of New Mexico, you don't really think of cold and snow. You know, you think of warm desert and stuff. It just goes to show you. Just shows to go ya. What us Canadians know about New Mexico. Just cleaned up here. Just get that excess off around this port here. Little bit of dirt around there, but not too much. Clean that up around these edges. He felt just a little bit crunchy at the end. Who's my wet one? I wonder wet. Is it you? Who is it? I don't want to have to sniff it to find out. Ooh, that's the one. I don't think that would be very good. Oh, it's coming along. Do this front part. Gets most of them in there. It's underneath here. I think I'll just give it another little shot. And around. Spots that didn't get it. Be careful when you're around you, buddy. we'll say. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, got it. Can I see here now? Just a little bit. Ooh, scary. I did get a little bit on that. Get you off of there. Okay, so there's still a little bit around the front. It's got to be done. Got a kind of soot line running on there. Get this around the front. Here. Around the front here. Oh. Off of it. See, that front part would probably stay fairly clean. So, yeah, I mean, we didn't get all the panel lines back. Oop. And, you know, we definitely could have gone farther with the seams. But all in all, I think it turned out pretty rugged. Okay, I'm just going to fill in these last few bits of panel lines here along the bottom and along the side that still need a hit. And then we'll come back, put the props on, and we'll call her a finished kit. So we'll get the props on her. I'm going to just fill in these little bits of panel lining that haven't filled in, and then we will get a coat of clear on everything, get the rotors on it, and I think we can basically call this a completed cheap model kit. So here, I'll get some another coat of panel line on some of these, and then I'll let that dry and we'll come back for the final. And here she is, our completed cheap model build, our fourth kit for 2024, including our resin prints. But here she is. This is the 172 scale Model Craft Hobby Craft 172 scale CH-113 Labrador. And other than that, and a little tow rope and some little grills in the vents here at the back, she's pretty well stock. We modified up this door so that we could pose the bottom open. I can open and close it, and if you look at the picture of it, it sort of shows it rolled up inside the cab. I don't know where, was it in the instructions? I guess it was a picture that I was looking at, a reference photo, and I noticed that this top window here, because if you notice in this photograph here, the top part of the window doesn't open out or anything, obviously because the rotors are turning overhead. But you can see the bottom door is like a different sort of cage door, but it drops down, and then the upper part must pull in and roll up against the roof of the fuselage, and that's what we did here. So yeah, we added some chips. So I mean, it's not perfect like all of my models, but it looks a darn sight better than it did laying in the box, that's for sure. So after we added our panel wash, that sort of brought the canopy around, and you can see our seat belts inside. You can get a look at the interior. There's not much detail in there, but really once you get it sealed up, there's really not much to see. That's why I thought adding the seat belts might be a nice little touch, because you can kind of catch those if you're looking in there. And yeah, I mean, we had the typical decal problem with old decals, a few that broke. And we've got our little bay here underneath to go in. We made our little door, and we put a little, whatever, some sort of service maintenance electronics bay in there with our little door that closes. And we've got our wheels detailed. And yeah, the panel lines popped out pretty good. And I just left the one here with an obscured view. It was supposed to hatch, the escape hatches are supposed to go over these bubble ones, so those decals were never going to conform around those bubble windows, so I didn't even bother. But yeah, I sort of left it that way. It's kind of, I think it kind of looks actually kind of neat, actually, with it being blocked out, so I left it. I would say overall this kit for fit, I mean, it's like, you know, not the best. We had gaps around the fuselage that had to be fixed. And there was a bit that had to be shaved off the floor section that goes inside here to get the fuselage to fit together. But other than those couple little notes that I made, it fit together pretty well, all in all. I mean, for value and enjoyment, you got to give it a 10 out of 10. Maybe for accuracy, I really don't know. But I mean, for overall fit, you give it maybe a 6 or a 7. But I mean, depending on how far you want to go with any model, you know, you can turn it into something crazy. But I am pretty happy with the end product here, and I think we can set it next to our little Buffalo vehicle in our diorama. So we've got our props are done. Now I've left those. I'm not going to glue them in because I want to be able to remove those to position the chopper on the diorama. But generally, with her props on, that's what she looks like. And yeah, that sort of gets our fourth build, I guess, for this year. I'm going to back us off a little bit so you can kind of see the whole thing. But there she is in all of her glory. Our first cheap model build of the year this year. So yeah, this kit was under 10 bucks. And I mean, I guess all in all, build time, about a week or so. Most of it was drying. So a week's worth of evenings, you know, gluing and then painting it and detailing it out. Gives you a fair amount of enjoyment for $10. And of course the, you know, supplies that you use building it. But I really enjoyed this kit. I think it really turned out better than I thought it was gonna. I was really happy to get going with the panel lining. We'll have to move ahead with that on our next build and take advantage of starting to get that technique down. I know it seems like a rudimentarily simple thing, but you know, for us beginners, it's a hurdle that you're pretty happy to cover cross it once you get there. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about the whole thing. So we're looking to start on our next project. And I guess what we'll do is we'll start getting this set up with our base, along with our Buffalo, what we got here. And he turned out pretty good too, I think. He looks pretty cool with his thing on there, his box and his decals. I haven't clear coated him yet, so we'll get this guy sealed in, and then I think we'll add some snow that we'll be adding to the diorama base. So there's our cheap models. Let's look at the Airfix 172 scale Buffalo amphibian. It does come with a Jeep, whether or not we use it. I've got it kind of stowed away in our display that we're going to make, so I will determine whether or not we're going to use that or not. And that about pretty well wraps it up for these two models. I think maybe the next episode we'll take a look at the base that we've got going on and see about making some snow and adding some other maybe elements with these two kits to make a nice little diorama. But until then, I'm the model student, and that's it for this one, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.